The moment you turned 60, nothing in your body stopped. It simply changed its language, and the real work of listening began. Life after 60 can be understood as a biological recalibration rather than a decline. A subtle but profound transition in how your body allocates energy, repairs itself, and interprets the world. In earlier decades, your physiology was oriented toward rapid growth, expansion, and speed, driven by hormones that favored muscle building, quick reactions, and high-intensity performance. After 60, those hormonal signals soften, yet the body does not shut down. Instead, it reorganizes itself around efficiency, resilience, and long-term stability. Your heart still pumps with remarkable precision, but it does so with a rhythm that prioritizes steadiness over force, much like a seasoned conductor guiding an orchestra with calm authority rather than dramatic gestures. At the cellular level, trillions of tiny workers continue their silent tasks, repairing DNA, clearing damaged proteins, and renewing tissues, though they now benefit more from consistency than intensity. This is why your daily habits become so significant, because they either align with this new biological tempo or push against it. Movement remains essential, not as a display of youthful power, but as a way to keep blood vessels flexible, muscles responsive, and neural pathways active. Your brain, far from being static, still forms new connections, especially when stimulated by curiosity, learning, and meaningful engagement with life. At the same time, your metabolism gradually shifts, asking for more mindful nourishment, steady hydration, and balanced rhythms of activity and rest. Aging, therefore, is not a collapse of vitality, but a change in its expression, where strength becomes quieter, endurance becomes deeper, and awareness becomes sharper. In this stage, health is less about pushing limits and more about cultivating harmony between your physical body, your emotional state, and your internal biological systems, recognizing that every heartbeat, every breath, and every movement carries the intelligence of a lifetime already lived. Every day inside you, an invisible river of renewal is moving, flowing through billions of cells that are constantly breaking down and rebuilding themselves, in a process so precise that it borders on the miraculous. Your skin replaces itself, your blood is refreshed, your liver quietly detoxifies, and your brain continuously prunes and rewires its networks, showing that aging is not a state of stagnation, but an ongoing biological conversation. What shapes this conversation are your daily habits, which act like instructions whispered to your body at a microscopic level. When you breathe slowly and deeply, you signal your nervous system to shift toward calm, reducing stress hormones that otherwise accelerate cellular wear. When you move your body gently but consistently, you encourage circulation, deliver oxygen to tissues, and keep your muscles and joints responsive, reminding your physiology that it is still needed and valued. The food you eat becomes more than fuel. It turns into molecular messages that either support inflammation or soothe it, either sharpen your mind or cloud it, either sustain your energy or drain it. Even your sleep, often underestimated, is a powerful architect of health, orchestrating repair, memory consolidation, and hormonal balance while you rest in stillness. These habits are not separate acts, but interconnected threads that weave together your biological reality, shaping how well your body repairs itself over time. If your routines are rushed, irregular, or filled with chronic stress, your cells receive signals of instability, and respond by conserving energy, repairing less efficiently, and prioritizing survival over vitality. But when your days are structured with care, rhythm, and mindfulness, your body relaxes into its natural healing patterns, becoming more resilient and adaptive. This is why aging gracefully is not about rigid discipline, but about forming a respectful partnership with your physiology, listening to its needs, and responding with consistency rather than intensity. Your body does not ask for perfection, only alignment. And in that alignment, you begin to see that longevity is shaped not by dramatic interventions, but by the quiet, repeated choices you make from morning to night. Fitness after 60 shifts from a culture of performance to a practice of presence, where movement becomes less about proving strength and more about maintaining an intimate dialogue with your body. In your younger years, exercise often carried a tone of competition, speed, and pushing limits. But in later life, the science of movement reveals a different and deeper purpose. Your muscles may generate less explosive power, yet they remain highly responsive to consistent, gentle training that preserves their tone, elasticity, and coordination. When you walk with intention, lift light weights, or stretch with awareness, you are not merely working muscles, you are nourishing the complex communication network between your brain, nerves, and fibers that allows you to move with confidence and balance. Every step you take sends sensory feedback to your brain, helping it refine posture, spatial awareness, and stability, which is essential for preventing falls and maintaining independence. Your joints, lined with cartilage that depends on movement for nourishment, thrive when you engage in smooth, controlled activity that keeps them supple rather than strained. Scientific research consistently shows that strength training, even at low intensity, helps preserve bone density, reducing the risk of fractures, while also supporting metabolic health and blood sugar regulation. At the same time, balance exercises train your nervous system to react quickly and accurately, keeping you steady in unpredictable moments. Mobility work, such as gentle stretching or range of motion movements, maintains the flexibility of your muscles and tendons, allowing you to perform everyday tasks with ease, from bending to tie your shoes to reaching for objects overhead. Fitness in this stage of life is therefore not about sculpting the body for appearance, but about sustaining its functional intelligence, ensuring that movement remains fluid, natural, and pain-free. When approached with patience and curiosity, exercise becomes a form of listening, where you learn to distinguish between discomfort that signals growth and pain that demands caution. This mindful relationship with movement builds not only physical resilience, but also mental confidence, reminding you that your body, even in its changed state, is still capable, adaptable, and deeply interconnected with your sense of self. Nutrition after 60 quietly transforms from simple sustenance into a subtle form of biological stewardship. Because every bite you take carries information that travels far beyond your stomach, into your cells, your brain, and your emotional landscape. As metabolism naturally slows with age, the body becomes less forgiving of empty calories and more appreciative of nutrient-dense foods that truly support its intricate systems. Whole, minimally processed foods, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, lean proteins, and healthy fats act like gentle guardians for your organs, supplying vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and fiber that help regulate inflammation and protect your tissues from cumulative damage. The brain, in particular, is deeply influenced by what you eat, as fatty acids from sources like nuts, seeds, and fish support neural membranes, while antioxidants from colorful plants help defend against oxidative stress that can affect memory and cognitive clarity. Hydration, often overlooked, becomes even more critical as older bodies sense thirst less sharply. Yet, adequate water is essential for circulation, digestion, joint lubrication, and the removal of metabolic waste. Steady, balanced meals also stabilize blood sugar, preventing sharp spikes and crashes that can drain energy, disrupt mood, and strain the cardiovascular system. Protein intake gains renewed importance, not for building bulky muscles, but for preserving muscle mass, supporting immune function, and maintaining the structural integrity of skin and tissues. At the same time, mindful eating, slowing down, savoring flavors, and recognizing hunger and fullness cues reconnects you with your body's natural rhythms, reducing overeating and promoting better digestion. The gut, often called the second brain, thrives on fiber-rich foods that nurture beneficial bacteria, which in turn influence immunity, inflammation, and even emotional well-being through complex biochemical pathways. Salt, sugar, and highly processed foods, when consumed in excess, send signals of stress to your system, while simple, wholesome meals communicate care and stability. In this stage of life, nutrition becomes less about restriction and more about intentional nourishment, a daily ritual that honors your body's accumulated years while supporting its continued vitality. Calmness after 60 is not a soft luxury, but a powerful biological state that shapes how your body ages, because the nervous system sits quietly at the center of nearly every process that sustains life. When you experience chronic stress, your brain releases cortisol and adrenaline, chemicals designed for short-term survival but harmful when they linger, gradually increasing blood pressure, inflaming tissues, disrupting sleep, and weakening immune responses. Over years, this constant state of alertness can subtly wear down the heart, strain the brain, and accelerate cellular aging. Yet when you cultivate peace through rest, reflection, gentle routines, or meaningful connection, your physiology shifts into a different mode known as parasympathetic balance, where healing, repair, and restoration are prioritized. In this state, your heart rate slows into a steady rhythm, your breathing deepens, digestion improves, and your cells are better able to regenerate. Scientific studies show that regular practices such as meditation, mindful breathing, prayer, or simply sitting quietly in nature can lower stress hormones, improve emotional regulation, and even positively influence markers of inflammation in the body. Sleep becomes another cornerstone of this calm, because during deep rest, your brain clears metabolic waste, your muscles repair micro-damage, and your hormones recalibrate, making rest as essential as exercise or nutrition. Peace is also closely tied to purpose, as having meaningful daily activities, whether learning, creating, helping others, or nurturing relationships, gives your brain a reason to stay engaged and your heart a reason to stay open. Social connection plays a subtle but profound role here, because supportive relationships reduce feelings of isolation, lower stress, and reinforce a sense of belonging that is deeply intertwined with mental and physical health. Even gratitude, practiced quietly each day, has measurable effects on mood, sleep quality, and overall well-being by gently reshaping how your brain perceives the world. In this later stage of life, health becomes an integration of body, mind, and spirit, where movement strengthens muscles, nutrition fuels cells, and inner stillness protects the delicate balance that allows all these systems to function together seamlessly. Finally, aging teaches that health is incomplete without peace, because the nervous system responds to calm as powerfully as it does to exercise. And when you cultivate rest, gratitude, and purposeful living, your biology follows, proving that longevity is as much philosophical as it is physical.